This time next year, has Steve Garcia fought for a UFC title?
Not yet. A lot more people have to bleed before they give me a title shot.
Okay.
I have to finish a lot more people, Ariel. And that's why I'm so zoned in. I'm so locked in. Nobody's safe with me.
He is the mean machine, the pride of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Steve Garcia, kind enough to join us right here now to talk about the big win over David Onama. Hello, Steve. How are you?
What's up, Ariel? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Congrats on the win. Very impressive. And I think you really proved your point. You really proved that you are a top dog and proved what you set out to do. Biggest moment of your career so far, given the stakes, given the main event, given the opponent?
Yeah, man. It was a special night on Saturday. So can't complain about that, man. Had my first main event. It was at the Apex, but I don't care. You know what I mean? So I was able to go out there, put on a hell of a show for everybody. I hope that was able to watch. And, we got the KO done. He was behind me, so I don't know how much that pushes me, but I want everybody to know that I'm the real deal. And I felt like I was able to kind of justify that on Saturday. So, yeah, great things happening. Things are brewing. Love it.
I had just mentioned Onama had never been stopped, but you're on this great streak. You're looking so good. Were you feeling stoppage? Were you confident, or were you settling in for 25 minutes? What were you thinking? What were you feeling?
I prepared for a war. So that was just a checkbox, during camp. I go Holly and I was telling her, I was like, dude, you fought so many of these 5 rounders, because I have 5 rounders, but not at like the UFC caliber. And so I always like to talk to them and pick their brains. And I was like, no, we're preparing for 6. That's what we're like. That's what we're doing. We're prepared for 6. And I was like, okay, done. I was like, you the boss. So we prepared for 6. So I know that I was ready to go for 6 rounds if needed. But I was in the back and I was hitting pads, and I was like, man, dude. I was like, I felt powerful. I was like, I feel strong here. This is just one of those moments you just couldn't take away. I felt like I could have beat anybody that night. So yeah, man, just felt really strong. Felt like I hit hard. Yeah, and to do it against Onama, get that first round, he's tough as nails, man. You can't take anything away from that guy, because that dude, even when he gets hit, he's almost even more dangerous. He kind of reminds me of me a little bit. That's why, like in my interviews leading up to the fight, I was like, I'm waiting to see if we're cut from the same cloth. And I don't know if we quite are, but he's very talented.
I understand you collect fight posters, right?
Yeah, I was just hanging up my new one just now, literally right before we got on.
Oh, and so this would be the first one where your face is on it.
Very first one, man. So
wow.
I'm making room. I'm running out of room on my wall, but I made sure to make room for that one.
How many do you have?
So I have 10. I have 10 of them. One of them fell and broke, so I got to fix it, which is, ironically the one that I lost. But it was it's all good. I use that as a reminder for me. Keeps me humble.
So are these only posters that you competed in the event, or do you look for other ones as well?
No, just the ones that I fight.
Okay.
Fight under. Yeah.
What is it like for you to see one now with your face on it, an official UFC poster?
Special, man. It's special. Like I said, I literally I'm not done hanging it up. I have to scoot them all over. I have to create room for them. But my wife walked in while I was doing it, and she's like, "Steve, you're a dreamer here, buddy." She's like, because she's the total opposite of me. She's like, everything has to make sense. She's a black and white person. She makes sure that it makes sense, right? And for me, I'm like, I don't care if there might be this crazy idea that it may or may not happen, but I'm gonna go for it. So I'm the dreamer, and she's the one who's kind of keeping things in check around here. But she's like, you said it, man. You said you were gonna do it, and look at you, you did it. So it was kind of feather in my cap. I was like, I told you, you know what I mean? So just listen, pay attention.
You talked about, your post-fight interviews are always, they said it on the broadcast, very heartfelt. You're a very easy guy to root for, and you always talk about where you're from, what you had to overcome, Albuquerque, the 505, all that stuff. And you talked about just how much you've had to overcome just to be here. And it sounds like, it obviously sounds like a lot. And I just wonder if you felt like you were ever surrounded by people who didn't believe in you, who didn't believe that you could get here. And now you're on this, this tour to prove everyone wrong. Do you think like that? Do you have a chip on your shoulder?
I absolutely have a chip on my shoulder. I've been surrounded by people that didn't believe in me. I've had teammates that didn't believe in me. I've had coaches that didn't believe in me, but they were just around me because that was a job. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that like I had the worst thing. There's so many people out there that probably have way worse stories than I do. But what I do know is that the atmosphere here, the culture here, everybody wants you to do good, but not better than them. And that's something that like I think I wish we could change here. I don't, and like I said, it can happen everywhere. I'm not trying to say that like I'm a special case or anything like that, but I've experienced a lot of that. You know what I mean? I've had people and coaches tell me, it's like, yeah, it's probably not for you. I've had people tell me that without them I won't be anything. I've had a lot of different things like that. Just to name a few. Um, I've had people come in and out of my life like that. So I kind of like take those things and I kind of use it as fuel. Um, and I go out there and I'm like, no man, I'm somebody. God made me somebody. So um, I'm not gonna shoo away from a challenge. You know what I mean? And in order to be great, you got to do great things. And I feel like when you go into the UFC, you're fighting the best guys in the world, and that's a form of greatness. And right now, man, we honestly freaking, we're turning in bounties, man. Ariel, we're literally turning in bounties. I mean, these guys have prices on their head, and I'm just cashing in, brother.
I did see you say before the fight, when you were talking about the state of the featherweight division, you felt like Volk is just kind of holding things up, doing cooking videos and whatnot. Do you really think Volk is the one at fault here? Because he was the one calling for a fight in December, and now it sounds like they're pushing it to February because they're going to Australia. Respectfully, I don't think he's the problem here. Do you feel otherwise?
No, I was kind of taking it out of context.
Okay,
But
okay. So
people,
tell
of course,
us.
they want to chop it up.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, there's no way you can discredit Volkanovski. This dude, he was like, I kind of felt like for him because, I felt like people kind of saw him as the guy that wouldn't be a champion. And now that he's a champion, you know what I mean? Everybody has him at such a high standard. I know I do too, and I have a lot of respect for him. But it was just kind of one way because everybody's asking me like, well, why don't you call out these guys? Why aren't you doing stuff? I was like, because honestly, everybody's at a standstill right now. And it's not even so much Volk's fault, but the thing is that everybody wants to be available from like six down in case to get that call. So because there's no movement going on to make that title matchup, I have an idea probably who it's going to be. But what I kind of feel is everybody's like, no, man, if they call, I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be available. Like I don't want to be matched up with somebody and lose that opportunity. So I think from like six down, they're just kind of just holding out. So there's no motion going on in the division right now, and so that kind of limits everybody up. Kind of where I'm at, and we all have to fight each other, which is fine. It's kind of normal, right? Um, that's why when they gave me Onama, I was like, dude, I'm just gonna go out there and fight, man. This is how I provide for my family. This is what I do. This is my job, and I'm gonna go out there and just make something of myself. And what was great is that they gave me the headliner spot, which was something I wasn't gonna just drop the ball on. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I was referring to when it comes to that situation going on with Volk. I just kind of threw in the cooking thing just to kind of lighten the mood because everybody's kind of just like, well, what are you gonna do next? How's how do you see Onama and stuff like that? I was just trying to like spice it up a little bit. But like I said, I have a lot of respect for Volk. I think that he's a phenomenal champion. I just want him to. I think if he came out, he's like, I want to fight this person on this day. I think they'll make it happen. That's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and because honestly, I'm kind of like Volk too in that sense. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Just send him my way. But for him, if he decisively be like, I want to fight this guy. I don't care what it is. Make it happen. They'll make it happen. You know what I mean? He's a champ. He can do it. Of course, he doesn't have the final say, but that's how I feel.
Okay. In a perfect world for you. And by the way, isn't it weird? Isn't it weird? Like I was just going through the list of the top finishers in the division right now and the winning streaks and whatnot. And the guy with the most wins in a row right now, Lerone Murphy, second guy, Mofsar. It sounds like both of them aren't getting a title shot next. It sounds like it's going to be Diego Lopez.
Yeah.
How does this sit with you? Because you're getting into that territory now.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'd fight any of those guys. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be the fact that they're so far ahead, but if they're available, why wouldn't that make sense? Um, But then again, they don't want to fight backwards, just like I didn't want to fight backwards. So I get it. Leron's winning. He wants to go forward. Who else is winning? Zalal, he's winning. He wants to go forward. There's a lot
Movsar.
of reasons why. Yeah, Mosvar. Honestly, I feel bad for the guy, but the dude needs to figure it out. Like that's the truth. He needs to figure it out. He needs to be like, he needs to turn into a submission artist, or he needs to start freaking ground and pounding better. He needs to go find a different camp because the way he's winning is not doing him any favors. Um, that's just the problem. But as a purist, he probably is the guy that deserves a shot. If we're being honest, I truly feel that way because he hasn't lost. He's boring, but I guess that I don't know if that. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's working out very like well for him. So I don't. I really can't say that it's working out for him. But he's up there. What is he? Number one, number two?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would think he's not next up, right? He's on deck, but I don't make the
I
calls,
thought
man.
Lerone would be next because he has the same amount of wins in a row now, and he got an incredible finish, spinning
Yeah.
back elbow. Does it make you nervous? Because like you're not a boisterous guy, you don't like puff your chest out and talk trash. You're getting into that territory of almost double digit wins in a row. Are you nervous that you're gonna this has happened time and time and again when you see a guy like you on a winning streak doing all the right things. You are getting finishes though, so that's a little bit different than some of these other guys, but they get
Yeah.
passed over. Are you nervous about that?
I feel like I might be overlooked. I'm still overlooked. It's funny because everybody's like, "Who's this guy?" You know what I mean? And they're slowly getting to know. Especially the people that were hating on me. They were open, and they were actually mad because the comment I made about Volk. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, bro, like I'm actually kind of a fan of him. So like, you can hate on me if you want, but what I will say is that I think it took Max Holloway nine wins in a row to get to the top. So that means he had to become the champ before he was the champ, right? So in my head, I kind of have already accepted that fate if that happens. Because if I do that, then the only thing that I can think of is that I might benefit me more if they actually give me a shot at like Leron Murphy or they give me a shot at like the top five. Because then I felt like I skipped a couple people. For in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go fight one by one by one just to get even close to the top. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? I feel like the next, 12 to 24 months, 12 to 24 months are going to be really important for my career and I guess my pursuit to the title.
How quickly would you like to return?
I like February. February sounds good.
Okay. And I know, you were talking about some top dogs and then you mentioned Max Holloway and then you mentioned some other names. Like realistically, who do you think you get? I was talking about some names earlier, some names that I thought could be of interest. I'll tell you some of the names and you could tell me what you think of them. Like I mentioned John Silva, Patricio Pitbull, Zalal, maybe even Arnold Allen, who is up there. What do you think of those, or do you have other ideas?
All those guys are on the table for me. I don't really care. There's two. The reason why I said Max is because people always ask me like, what do you want? Because everybody like asks me that, and I'm like, it doesn't matter what I want. They give me what they give me, right? But I finally said I want to crack at the BMF title. Like, well, he's not even a 45er. I was like, I understand that. I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? I know he's a 55er. I get it. But he has that title. I love that title. Like, I know people think it's kind of the most, quackiest title. I'm like, bro, like, to me, that resonates. You know what I mean? If you go get an undisputed title, you're the baddest dude, right? But you can win it by being a grappler, a jiu-jitsu guy, a really good striker. You can get it through many fashions. But to be a BMF, in my personal opinion, dude, you got to be this gunslinger who doesn't back down from anybody and will fight to the very death. That's what that like means to me. So that's why I call it that. As far as like the actuality of the 145 realm, um, I think Zalal is going to get matched up already. I think Gene Silva's matched up already. I think Arnold Allen's already matched up. A lot of these guys seem that I don't know. These are just rumors that this is what's going to happen. So then I'm like, okay, who's left? And so I think it was probably Emmett or Yair. And I think Yair is going to probably hold out for somebody at the very, very top. So I'm like, all right, who's realistic and who's available right now? That makes sense. And I think a fight with Josh Emmett would have made more sense because he has a lot of name value. And on top of that, he's dangerous. Like he just is. And who wouldn't want to see me versus him? I mean, maybe that's a question I'll ask you. I mean, would you want to see that, or what would you prefer to see?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, all those names I'm interested in. I think the one, if I had to pick one, I loved you versus John Silva. I
Yeah,
think
and
that's,
like I said, I'm good with that.
yeah. I would absolutely love that one. I think I know he's coming off a loss, but he was just on a good streak. He just lost in the main event against the guy who
Yeah.
probably is going to fight for the belt. I just think that you two would be magic together. So if I had to
I
pick one,
yeah.
that's probably my vote. And you're close to each other in the rankings as well.
Yeah, I think that's a fun dance partner to have. What is he, 10?
As of now, I mean that could change tomorrow, but just for the record, he is 10. Yes,
Okay. Yeah, he's within the realm, right? So
100%.
if they want to set it up, I'm in. I like I said, I think there's rumors of him potentially being matched up already, but like I said, I'm at this point to where like I'm preparing my mind. Like my mind is like you're gonna have to beat every single person. Like be ready for anybody. And I need to be back in the gym, ASAP. As soon as my eye, pretty much, clears up, I'll be good. But um yeah, man, I'm not here. I'm not a joke. People been counting me out for a long time. People think that I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I literally just knocked out everybody on the way up. Uh, yeah, man, I got to go through everybody. That's how I feel. That's where my mind's at.
By the way, in the post fight interview, you also had a very nice message about a friend of yours who passed away, and who obviously couldn't be here. And you said that he was gunned down due to his opinion. And I saw some people saying that you were referring to Charlie Kirk. Were you talking about Charlie Kirk, or were you talking about someone else?
Now, Charlie Kirk.
Okay, because you said
So
the Charlie family, so I wasn't sure.
yeah,
So you were friends with Charlie Kirk?
yeah. He would come to New Mexico a lot. He comes to my church, and we hit it off 2 years ago, and he has no idea about our world, the MMA world, and he was just it was crazy because I was there to see him, and I was there to talk to him, and he had so many questions for me on like the process of weight cutting and how do the rankings work and like how do you even set up a fight? He's like, how do you just like call each other and you're like you guys set up a fight? I was like, no, man. I was like, there's we fight for organization and promotion, and they're the ones that set it up. It's like, oh, okay, I just didn't know how it worked, and so I was like filling him in. He's like, man, he said, obviously everybody thinks we're crazy for what we do, and he says, you know what, man, he says, I do know Dana. Dana's a great dude. He says, I would love to watch one of your fights, and that was like 2 years ago,
Wow.
and I was like, yeah, I was like, absolutely, like I'd love for you to come over, and I didn't see him again till like I want to say he came back to Albuquerque probably, like I said, 3 weeks before he got assassinated. And we had another talk, and he's like, "Hey man, when's your next fight?" And I was like, "Dude, I was like, it was in the works. It was in the works." I was like, "But it should be in November." And he says, "When you get the date, let me know." He says, "I want to be there." He says, "I'll talk to Dana, and maybe I can get a seat over there or something like that." I was like, "Bro, say less." I was like, "Dude, I got you." And I was looking forward to that because, like I said, this would have been a new experience for him to have someone like him be there. I thought that would have been super cool. And like I said, 3 weeks later, he ended up getting shot and killed, and it was a terrible tragedy. You know what I mean? And people can hate on me all if they want, but he was becoming a good friend of mine, and we were able to have these conversations. He was like, "Bro, like text me." Like even after my last fight with Nelson, he reposted me on X. He's like, he gave me a shout out. I don't remember exactly what it said, but he gave me a shout out on X, and yeah, man, we started to build this friendship, and it was such a sad thing for me because I get to know him on a personal level.
And so, can you tell us about him? What was he like? We know the guy, in front of the cameras and what has been said, but you knew him as a friend, as you say, on a personal
Yeah.
level. What was he like?
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. He's probably one of the most respectful dudes that you'll ever talk to. He's super tall, like crazy tall, bro. Like, pretty athletic. I didn't know he could sling a football, bro. He could sling a football for sure. And every time we hung out, man, he was just always more intrigued in me. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, he would gloat about his family. And obviously his belief in God and stuff. That's kind of where I met him was through church. So we were able to have these conversations, and I'd even ask him like, bro, like, how do you not punch some of these guys in the face, bro? I was like, some of these guys are so rude, so disrespectful. And he's like, honestly, man, he says, love God, man. That's all I can say, because I'm not saying I don't want to punch somebody in the face. He says some people, they really know how to get on your nerves, but man, he says, I just got to trust in God that he'll just lead the way, and I can speak well. And he says, I have a whole prayer that I do before. And I was like, man, I was like, bro, I was like, you got to rub off on me a little bit, because for me, I'm like, they popping off at me, it's gonna be a problem. I was like, I'm from Albuquerque, it's a little bit different here, you know. But yeah, man, there were just moments that we just had lots of conversations, and in the time span that we were able to have conversations, and he got to meet my wife, he got to meet my dad, he got to meet my brother. Um, he's real close with, like I said, my pastors and stuff. So, yeah, dude, it was a bummer, man. It was a
Oh
bummer.
man, shocking, and especially for it to happen, on video, and the world have to see it, and his family to have to endure that. Could I just ask, did you ever train with him?
No, I did tell him to come to Jackson's though, and he says, I don't know how to. I was like, I don't know if I know how to do all that. I was like, dude, of course you don't know how to do all that. I was like, I'm gonna show you. And he says, maybe one day. He didn't commit to it, but he was, I was trying to put it in his head. I'm like, bro, just come to Jackson's, bro, because Jackson's has so many people that come through. No matter what you are, you be a politician, you be an actor, whatever case is. It's just an iconic place to have you sign a wall. It's just part of the theme over there at Jackson's. And yeah, man, I wish we could have got him in there. I think that would have been a good time.
Well, again, I'm really sorry about that. I didn't know that you guys were friends, and a very sad moment, I think, in our country's history. No one deserves that, as you said, and regardless of how you feel about him or his politics or what side of the fence he's on, no one deserves that. And I think your message was very much on point. Like, it's crazy that we are getting to these points, and not to say that this hasn't happened over the course of America's history, but it should never happen. No one deserves that. No family deserves that. So yeah, it
I
was
think everybody should go home to their families, man.
yeah.
Like if the person that may have pulled the trigger. I mean, what if we didn't agree with you? Does that not mean you get to go home? Like, bro, like it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to disagree, but it's just a conversation. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the worst part of it all, is that like he wasn't literally violent or physical people. He literally set up a tent and he gave someone a mic. You know what I mean? Like I feel like everybody should be allowed to have a conversation with anybody, and we should still be able to like dab each other up, after the conversation, and be cool with everybody. But it's not like that anymore. Um, that's one thing that I think I respected out of Charlie the most, was that he was able to still have conversations with people that didn't like him, and I think we all need to probably learn to do that better.
Mhm.
I don't always have to agree with you, but we can still be cool afterwards. It's all right. We can still be friends. It's all right. Like, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? We might not be the bestest of friends, but nobody's getting hurt over it.
By the way, switching topics, and I couldn't agree more. 4 out of your last 5 at the Apex. We got to get you out of the Apex, right? I mean, we need you.
Dude, I'm the Apex King.
You want
I have
that?
6 knockouts.
All right, all
No,
right.
I want live audiences. That's
Because I think that would help put you over a little bit. Like, the crowd goes crazy. It just adds a
yeah.
lot of energy, right?
Dude, there's nothing like, even when I fought in Nashville with Cater, bro, like the energy was electric, and a lot of them were cheering Cater on. I think I won some of them over though, because they were starting to cheer for me afterwards. But dude, there's something about being in front of a live audience, this gladiator likeness to fighting, right? So I think I need an audience. I mean, what do you think?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean,
All right,
if we want to get into it, I don't think any of the UFC fights should be happening at the Apex anymore. But
sure.
and I think you guys deserve to be all fighting in front of thousands of people going crazy for you. You've earned that. But yes, of course, with the streak that you're on, and I can understand if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. But like, people have to view you as a star in order to get behind you fighting for the belt. You fighting in front of a T-Mobile crowd or Madison Square Garden or one of these big arenas, I think does a lot for your star power, your brand, all that stuff. So I would love to see it happen. By the way, is it true that your dad said to you before the fight, like, go be violent or something like that? That's not usually something you hear from your dad. What exactly did he say to you? And does he often say this before your fights?
He's only told me twice, and so this is one of them. But he told me this. He told me to go be violent. I think it was Gosh, I've had so many. It might have been the Nelson one.
Okay.
I think it was the Nelson one. But yeah, man. Yeah, he told me, he's like, Steve, you go be violent and you go show them what you can do. He says they can't match you. They don't know your energy. They don't. He says you have a different presence about you, and so I just had to go out there and show it, man. My dad knows me better than anybody else. He's been with me from the very, very start. And he's been in almost every single fight that I've had. There's been a select few he hasn't been part of. But yeah, man, when your dad tells you to do something like that, like he gives you the okay, you're like, say less. Let's go.
Yeah, that's great words of wisdom from your dad. And I loved on the post show that you gave a shout out to the great Diego Brandao, who's enjoying a renaissance. He's won 3 in a row. I actually saw his Tough Enough fight live. We were there in Vegas,
Nice.
and it was amazing to see, Brandao still doing it all these years later. Is he seriously trying to get back to the UFC?
I think he needs. I think he needs one more shot, man. I do. I think he needs one more shot. I think that if something lines up, or someone maybe even falls out, I think that could potentially get him in. I'm not sure, but he's ready, man. Like I feel like the Diego Brandao 2.0 is literally lurking, and he's just waiting for his opportunity because they keep giving him these contenders over here at the Tough Enough events, and he's finished 2 of them, and the third one, I know they went to a decision, but he was just messing around, and I'm like, bro, like, not right now, not right now. You know what? I know you want to be a fan favorite and stuff like that, but bro, let's just freaking put these guys away. Yeah, I mean, he's done like a 180. He's literally just changed his whole life around. Um, he's found a good rhythm of things, and I really hope to see him back in the UFC. I do think that if he's going to finish anywhere, it needs to be in the UFC. He's still dangerous as can be. His grappling, I've never seen someone grapple like him. I really haven't. And then the way he integrates it with, his mixed martial arts and stuff like that. I mean, this dude's incredible just to watch. And I'm in the UFC. You know what I mean? Like I'm his fan. And love having him around.
By the way, if it's Volk versus Diego Lopez, who do you like in that fight, in that rematch?
Diego.
Oh, you think Diego wins?
I think Diego wins
Wow, why?
because the first one was too competitive.
Mm.
But what I will say is Volk did, he learned some things, obviously with Max the second time around, but I felt like Max won the second fight. So I don't know. Diego has aura. Diego goes into these fights, and man, he really shows up, and he's just hard to get rid of. Um, I think you could see the changing of the guard kind of happening, and I think that last fight kind of showed it. Diego was in there. And I feel like with some fine tuning, I think he, fixes a couple things. I think he can walk away with that. I don't think he'll finish Volk, but I think he can get the decision.
Wow, wow, wow. This time next year, has Steve Garcia fought for a UFC title?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I got to go through too many, but I'll be knocking on the door.
Wow. Hey, listen, I appreciate the realistic view that you take on things, because I think a lot of people be like, yes, I'll be champion already. But, and that doesn't mean that I think that your confidence is wavering in any way, shape, or form, but I think you're a realist.
A lot more people have to bleed before they give me a title shot.
Okay.
I have to finish a lot more people, Ariel. And that's why I'm so zoned in, I'm so locked in. Nobody's safe with me. Everybody's in danger. Like, even if you could be the best wrestler, the best guy, I don't care. I really don't care. I'm one of the best fighters on this planet. And I believe that. Everybody's going to take some more time to believe that too.
I love it. I love the confidence. Congratulations on the run, the win, incredible stuff. And looking forward to seeing what you do in 2026, my man. All the best. Congrats. And thanks as always for the time.
Thanks, Ariel. I appreciate you, brother.
There he is, Steve Garcia. You can feel the intensity. I love it. And I appreciate the candor and the realistic approach to the game. I mean, there's Lerone out there, there's Mofsar out there. The Diego take is a great one. So let's see how it all plays out. But interesting times at 145 pounds. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here,
do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.